Good morning, friends, or whatever time of day it is where you are tuning in from. This is Alvin, your voice from Greenground, here to weave through the tapestry of our world's headlines with a touch of elegance and a whole lot of heart. Pull up a chair, maybe sip that coffee, and let's dive into the stories that are shaping our shared story today. It's a Sunday morning reflection on the conflicts and crises that remind us how fragile yet resilient humanity can be. Let's start where the echoes are loudest, in the heart of Europe with the ongoing saga between Russia and Ukraine. Imagine the chill of winter biting deeper as darkness falls not just from the night sky, but from a barrage of over 450 drones and 30 missiles slamming into Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Millions left shivering without power, lights flickering out across cities that have already endured so much. It's a calculated strike, isn't it? Targeting the very veins that keep life flowing in the cold months. And Ukraine, ever defiant, strikes back with its own drones deep into Russian territory, claiming lives in the process, 2 souls lost in that retaliation. It's a grim chess game where each move escalates the stakes, leaving us all wondering when the board might finally crack under the weight. I've always thought wars like this aren't just about land. They're about the human spirit tested to its limits, families huddling by candlelight, dreaming of spring's thaw bringing more than just warmer weather. Shifting our gaze southeast, tensions are flaring along the Thailand-Cambodia border, where clashes persist despite whispers of a U.S.-brokered ceasefire. Picture the dense jungles and rugged hills, patrols facing off, gunfire cutting through the humid air. It's one of those border disputes that simmer for years, fueled by history and pride, but right now it's boiling over. Why can't diplomacy stick? We've seen mediations before, promises exchanged over handshakes, yet here we are again. It makes you ponder the delicate dance between nations, sometimes a step forward, often 2 back. Over in Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo is grappling with violence in its eastern regions that's tearing at the fabric of daily life. Fighting has intensified, displacing families who are fleeing with whatever they can carry, health services crumbling under the strain. The UN Security Council is buzzing with discussions, fearing this could spill over into neighboring countries like a wildfire jumping ridges. It's heartbreaking to think of children caught in the crossfire, clinics without medicine, communities on the brink. These aren't abstract numbers. They're stories of survival, of hope clinging to threads amid chaos. And it's a reminder that some crises stay under the radar too long until they're impossible to ignore. Myanmar pulls at the heartstrings even harder with a military airstrike that hit a hospital in Rakhine State. Over 30 lives gone, patients, doctors, staff just doing their duty. The military says opposition forces were using it as a base, but does that justify the devastation? Hospitals should be sanctuaries, not targets. It's a scene straight out of a tragedy where healing turns to horror in an instant. These humanitarian nightmares in places like Myanmar and DR Congo make you reflect on how interconnected our world is. One strike's ripple can unsettle us all. Not far off in the waters of the South China Sea, the Philippines is pointing fingers at China after an incident near Sabina Shoal. Fishermen injured, boats damaged by water cannons. It's a tense standoff in disputed waters that feel more like a powder keg with each encounter. These maritime flashpoints keep sailors on edge, economies in limbo, and global trade routes under scrutiny. It's the kind of friction that tests alliances and patience alike. Then there's Syria, where an ISIS attack claimed 3 American lives, 2 service members and a civilian. The U.S. response is vowed to be swift and resolute, a stark reminder that even as some conflicts wind down, terrorism lurks ready to strike. It's a loss that hits home, families mourning heroes far from familiar soil. On a brighter note, let's talk releases and resolutions. Belarus has freed 123 political prisoners, including Nobel laureate Ales Bialiatsky, following the lift of U.S. sanctions. Imagine the relief, the fresh air after years behind bars. A small victory for human rights advocates everywhere. And in Honduras, a former president pardoned by the U.S. Stirring debates on justice and reconciliation. These moments of release feel like breaths of fresh air amid the strife. Eritrea's decision to withdraw from the Intergovernmental Authority on Development comes amid UN worries over tensions with Ethiopia, another layer in the horn of Africa's complex web. And wrapping up with something forward-looking, the UN Environment Assembly in Nairobi just concluded, passing 11 resolutions on planetary resilience. From climate action to biodiversity, it's a collective nod to safeguarding our blue marble for generations ahead. In a world of headlines dominated by conflict, these environmental pledges whisper of stewardship and hope. As I sit here reflecting on all this, it strikes me how our planet is this grand stage, with actors playing out dramas both epic and intimate. The Ukraine escalation tests endurance like few others, those energy blackouts a metaphor for the blackout of peace we've all yearned for. Border clashes in Southeast Asia remind us that old grudges die hard, needing more than words to heal. Congo and Myanmar's plights, their calls to amplify voices too often silenced. The South China Sea tussle, a lesson in sharing oceans without sparking tempests. Syria's tragedy underscores vigilance against shadows like ISIS. And those prisoner releases, their sparks of compassion lighting dark corners. Friends, these stories aren't just news. They're threads in the human narrative, urging us to empathy, action, wisdom, whether it's supporting its aid for displaced families, advocating for dialogue in tense borders, or championing environmental guardians. We each have a role. It's Sunday, a day for pause and perspective. Let's carry that into the week. If this monologue resonated with you, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more daily dives into the world that matter. Check the description below for deeper links and resources to explore these stories yourself. Share what moved you most in the comments. I read everyone and love hearing your voices. Until tomorrow, stay curious, stay kind. This is Alvin, signing off from Green Ground.